Well, hello and welcome to all of you out there in YouTube world. This is a brand new channel, and I'm going to call it, for now, may change it. Going to call it Cars and Guitars. I've wanted to do this for a long time, but I've put it off. And on this channel, we're going to talk about cars, of course, which mainly, probably exclusively, we're going to talk about Mopars, Dodge Challengers. That's what I have, so that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm not super knowledgeable on, I'm not a mechanic, or I don't have any skills um, to work on cars or to do anything like technical stuff, but I have a love for them. And I've waited a long time to get one and finally got one a couple years back, and just enjoy driving it, enjoy talking about them. I enjoy watching content like this, so I'm going to participate in making some new content. And there's already so many channels out there, so why watch this? Well, we're just going to talk about maybe simple mods that you can do. And I can't do the mods, but I want to talk about ideas. I want to talk about just the market, and if you're looking to buy one, or what things are good, what things are not. And and then, as a kind of a something unique, I'm also a musician, so I love cars, I love guitars. I'm going to combine the two, and I'm going to include some guitar lessons in this. So after we talk about every show, again, this is just experimental for now, but we'll talk a little bit about, we'll have a segment on cars, and then we'll have, at the end, I'll have a little guitar lesson. And if you're not interested in guitar, or you don't want to play or whatever, you can just turn it off at that point, or if you want to learn, you can. And so I'm going to, really, the guitar lesson part of it is going to focus on just some of those classic guitar solos, and things that you've always heard and you say, wow, I'd love to play that. And I'm going to try to break those down. And look, there's a million different sites you could learn guitar lessons, but I'm going to offer a little uniqueness where I'm going to give you a little more freedom to explore, um, and improvise, and give you a little bit of the understanding behind the solo, not just here's how it's done, which is what most of those videos are out there. So um, I think it's going to be fun. Let's see how it goes. Now, I'm not new to YouTube. This is brand new, but I'm not new to YouTube. I do have another channel called New Heaven and New Earth Unveiled, and that channel is really dedicated to the discussion of Bible prophecy, and it's from the perspective of the Bible prophecies that a lot of mainstream Christianity is obsessed with, and they're looking towards the future. They're looking in the news, and they're they're seeing these things that have not happened yet. The perspective I take on my channel regarding Bible prophecy is that these events have been fulfilled, and so we have little different perspective on it. And of course, that perspective is more of a positive view of the world we live in and the future, rather than doom and gloom and the world's going to come to an end. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description to this. But let's get started here. So I'm just going to talk about, in this episode, I'm just going to talk about my car. You get an understanding of the car I have, and that's, what the videos will be based around. So I got my, this is it. Now, I got this during the pandemic in 21, and it was so crazy enough, my wife was not into this. She thought it'd be a waste of money to go out and get one of these cars. My son's favorite color is orange. I only had one son at the time. I now have two. I have a little boy. It's just turned a year old this week, and my other son, who is 8 now, he would have been like 6 at the time. And so his favorite color is orange. That's what we look for. And my wife is really, she's really smart with the money and things like that. She's like, this doesn't make financial sense. And I was telling her, this is in 21. Hey, these things are going to go up. They're probably, who knows? They might stop making them. Turned out to be true, or we don't even know if it's true yet. They might still make them. Who knows? Um, but I said, look, the prices, you know, I said, unfortunately, I missed out, because if I could get a 2020, they had those power dollars where it was about $4,800 off. It was, they did it based on horsepower. It was like $100 per horsepower, and a 392 um, has 480 horsepower, so or something like that. I know it was about $4,800, and I said, but you know, they're pretty much the 2020s are all gone. Can't find one, and so she loves to get a deal. She loves to shop for deals, and if you can show her you're getting a deal on something, she's more inclined to want to buy it. So um, she's like, I can find one. Became kind of a competition, like a challenge. So you know, she started looking and she found this one, and I was like, wow, okay, that's perfect. And on top of that, they had a dealer discount of $3,500. So believe it or not, I got this thing for, you know, 3,500 off from the dealer and 4,800 from Dodge. So, you know, over $8,000 off, which is absolutely nuts. We wouldn't see that again. I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon, unfortunately. So I'll give you a little. This is when we picked it up. We're here. What do you think? It's cool. Thanks to mommy. We got a lot of other nice cars here too. Look at all these. Now, see what happened was they had a huge. See if I can put it. They had a huge amount of inventory here on 21s. They had over. It was somewhere in the 20s, and I think they had this 2020 left, and they weren't sure what was going to happen with the market, and they said, "All right, let's just get it out the door, 3,500 off plus the rebate from Dodge." I mean, what a steal, right? You wouldn't see that anymore. Low interest rate, you know. So I lucked out there, and as far as mods go, I haven't done much to it. So I took the TA stickers off. I got that done at a body shop where they took it off. So it was, you know, I want to do it myself. Came off really easy. Probably could have done it myself. Got the windows tinted. On the exhaust, I originally had got the mid muffler delete, but then I just felt it was too raspy and just it was too sharp of a sound. I wanted something a little more with a little more punch, a little more deepness to it. So I was watching videos and I got Flowmaster Super 10s put in, and they sound pretty good. I'd like it to be a little louder. I didn't want to invest in an expensive exhaust system. Plus, the wife already sees it as something we didn't need, so I don't really have a whole lot of money to put into this. So I'm going to share that my exhaust experience in the next video, but it sounds pretty good. But I'm going to probably be doing some upgrades in that anyway. So that's my story on my car. And I think the next video I'll talk about the exhaust a little bit. I want to compare my sticker, my stop the share here. I want to compare all the specs of what I got. So it's 392 TA. I'm going to compare some of the things that I got in that package with the window sticker with what you can buy today. So just to give an idea of the differences and benefits of staying with the 392 or maybe going to upgrade to a Hellcat or something like that. I'll talk about that in the next video as well as the exhaust. So I will transition now to the guitar portion of this video, and we're going to cover today Dire Straits with my favorite guitar solos of all time, Sultans of Swing. There's two solos in that. We're just going to look at the first one. We're going to look at the first solo. I'm going to break it down, and this will be continuing. It's a very complicated solo. It's going to take some time. So I'm just going to play it, and then I'm going to break down a little bit of it today, and we'll continue in the next video. All right. All right. So we're going to start with Dire Straits here, the first solo. I'm going to play the first solo throughout, and then we're going to break down little pieces of it just to tell you a little bit about my guitar, my technique. I like Gretsches and Fenders. This is my first, I would say, real guitar. This is a 1994 Fender Strat. I believe I started playing in 93, which would be just about 30 years now. Crazy how time flies. But this is my first real guitar. You know, American Standard Strat, rosewood board. The original color was this green right here, and unfortunately, being a teenager or in my early 20s, thought it'd be cool if I get a, some flames on it, and wasn't really the best thing to do for the sound, which I learned later. I took it to a body shop and got it done. So looks cool, but eventually I'd like to restore it back to the original. It had a white pick guard on it, so I redid everything here. So I did upgrade it with Rio Grande pickups. It's I believe that's what they were called. It's been a long time ago, but it's got more of a Texas Stevie Ray Vaughan sound to it. I'm going to use the bridge pickup only here. I like the way that sounds, like a real bluesy sound. So I'm using a Line 6. Now this is like sacrilegious to me. I'm a tube only guy. But unfortunately, in this little room down here in my basement, I just can't use a tube amp because it'll be too loud. I just can't get it turned up enough to get the real sound of the tube. I got a Kendrick 25 watt amp. It's my lowest powered one, and that's just too loud. I do have a Vox 15 watt, but that's broke. And it's kind of hard to find anyone that works on tube amps anymore. So anyway, I'm going to use this, just basic clean tone. And we'll start off here, Sultans of Swing. It's really just in D minor. It's really a D minor pentatonic scale it's based off of, with some other notes from other other minor scales. Now this originally is, finger picked, without a pick. I like that sound, but I also like to use a pick as well, so I do a hybrid. I learned this from Brian Setzer, the Stray Cats, and Brian Setzer Orchestra. He's one of my huge influences. I'm really big into old rock and roll, rockabilly, and blues, and in addition to classic rock and everything else. But he has a technique where he will be picking, then put the pick up here, and then he'll be able to kind of alternate back and forth. So I do it without thinking about it. Yeah, you may see it here, you may not, but that's what I do. And I think that's a nice technique to learn, because there are definitely some notes where you want them to give a little more power behind them, and just with the finger pick doesn't quite bring it out. So that's something I would encourage you to work on, right? All you do is you have your pick, and then you can just put it up. You get that little jazzy sound too, and you can still have the pick. Get the best of both worlds there. So here we go. We're gonna start out in D. It's a D minor. That's really the whole progression right there of the verses. So I'm going to play just the first solo here. So let's look at that a little bit. Just starts off just a basic bend. Then it's going to take one of the bar from the minor scale outside the pentatonic. And again, this is not like a beginner lesson, so you got to have a little bit of knowledge here. But even if you don't, you can just follow along and don't worry about minor pentatonic. And when I throw out those words, I'm not super inclined on the musical theory and all that anyway. I just learned my scales, and you can learn a lot about the minor scale, because this is all minor scale. A lot of cool notes that are thrown in here. So anyway, we're just starting out with the basic bend, right? And you could pick this without the pick. It would sound like this. With the pick, it's just a little more pronounced. You probably heard that I didn't really realize it till I don't really realize what I do until I talk about it or try to explain it, but I'm using a lot of my fingers with the pick. I'm using a lot of that, using the pick and the finger together. But anyway, this is these are the dynamics of really, we call the dynamics of making these sounds. I mean, you could just do a sound kind of just boring, but you put in a little more effort into it, a little more of your fingers and pick together, it kind of gets a cooler sound. That's what you want to focus on when playing this or playing anything, is really just putting the feeling into it. So I'm plucking the string there. And I don't know if they even do this in the original one. Again, I'm giving my own style here, give me some ideas, but that's how I think it should sound, or the way I think it sounds the best. So really we're just doing a bend. Just learn that for now. Just learn that, all right? Just take it piece by piece. The next part, maybe we'll just do 2 parts of this here. We'll learn the next time. The next time. After that, he does this little thing where it's just you got these natural harmonics here on the 12th fret. This natural phenomenon, right? Lets those ring out. This is, for me, this is actually the hardest part of the solo. I don't know why, but for some reason, getting that, and then I just messed it up. See, getting the next part down is difficult. It's a pretty crazy run after he goes. Let's these ring out. So it's just, oops, I messed it up. Right, so I'm gonna give you 2. We'll just go to there, right? So we're gonna go. I'll do it one more time. Let this ring out. It's just. That's really just an arpeggio there at the end. That's a D minor chord. So really how he finishes that just how that last part ends is you take our D minor chord. You should know, you're just barring all these strings and playing the 3rd and the 5th. I guess you just have like a power chord. It's just the rest of the notes. I shouldn't say the 3rd and the 5th. This is really, it's just an octave. And I guess this will be the 5th. Yeah, that's the 5th. It's been a while since I broke this stuff down and actually taught it. But yeah, so if you just know a basic D minor chord, what we can do is take this this version of it, where it's just breaking down the chord into right. And these chords are cool. Gives you a little more flexibility, not having to hold that down. So anyway, he ends it just doing a bend, and then just goes up on that chord. If you just make that chord, so instead of, we can strum that out, he's just picking up. Pretty cool, but pretty simple. Let's put it all together again. And so you can kind of not just pick it, but let it ring out. So what I do is, when I ring these out, try to play those while those notes are ringing. It sounds really nice. And then after I do this bend, I want to get into the chord formation. So I just pick it up from the bottom up. So just kind of rake it. And we'll cover this. I just jumped ahead, but I love this run. All he's doing is just taking that D chord, D minor, you making it into those three. Just taking those three. Try to play like this. And then the chords of the song. So he's just going. Anyway, hope that helps you out, and we will cover more detail and we'll move on throughout the parts next time. And so, hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you next time. Take care.